things have not gone quite well for the Phils during the 2 games here in Detroit. They're looking to salvage this 3-game series here this afternoon on a warm day at Comerica Park. It's Game 3 of this series between the Phils and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. As we get set for today's ballgame, the Phillies are hoping that their closer, Genmar Gomez, who only has 1 appearance and his last save was last Wednesday, but 1 appearance over the last week, will get an opportunity to close out a victory. And they hope that Francisco Rodriguez, the closer for the Tigers, that he does not get a chance for save number 401.
Well, and what a career he has. He's a guy that goes out there, and he's learned how to pitch over the years. His first couple of years in the big leagues, he could throw 95, 96, absolutely just blowing the hitters away. Now, all of a sudden, as he gets older, he learned how to throw that changeup very good, and he also has a very good curveball. First game right here, Whitey gets a changeup inside, freezes him. David Lowe, really good changeup. See where I'm going? He loves the changeup. He loves to go ahead and finish the hitters off the changeup, and there he celebrates number 400 save of his career.
400th save last night here in a Tigers uniform, and you take a look at the numbers and who has reached 400 saves before him. Well, Mariano Rivera is the all-time leader, then Trevor Hoffman. How about Billy Wagner, the lefty with 422 saves? John Franco, another left-hander, with 424 saves. So that was a little baseball history individually for the Tigers last night. The Phillies are hoping that Aaron Nola will continue what's been an historic run for him with his walks and hits per innings pitched, but they also hope that he can continue his dominance on the road today.
Well, he's been dominating on the road. It's amazing, the numbers. He's just going out there, and what he's doing, he's being aggressive. You look at the numbers here at home, 1-3 with a 4.85 ERA, but when he gets on the road, 2-0 with a 1.32 ERA. The hits are totally down. Honestly, I think it's the fact that at home he nibbles a little bit, he falls behind, he has to come with the fastball for a strike. On the road, he seems like he attacks the hitters a lot more. He has confidence in that fastball. He gets with the 2 strikes. He throws that great curveball. So I think that's the difference. At home, he nibbles, and on the road, he attacks the hitters.
Last time out, he had a couple of fastballs that he left out over the plate that hurt him, including the 2-run home run to Freddie Freeman early in the game that put the Phils behind 2-0. So today is the final game of this 3-game series, a little afternoon lunchtime ball game. That's right. Get what you can when you come out here to Comerica Park. It'll be Aaron Nola with his 10th start of the year. Anibal Sanchez, he's really struggled this year with his mechanics. He's making his 10th start as well for the Detroit Tigers. Well, the Phillies are going to have to somehow figure out how to quiet Miguel Cabrera. Teams around baseball have been trying to figure it out for years. He's the DH here this afternoon. When we return, we'll go to the Comcast Sportsnet studios before first pitch. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Get a great deal on your favorite Toyota during the Toyota Times sales event. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Here in Detroit as the Phils and the Tigers wrap up this 3-game series before the Phillies head off to Chicago for an off day. Let's take a look at the Phils lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Odubel Herrera leads it off at center field. Freddie Galvis bats second. Maikel Franco hits third, followed by Tommy Joseph and Ryan Howard. Cameron Rupp's at .417 over the last week or so. He's batting sixth. And the bottom third of Blanco, Goodell, and Peter Borges, and they'll face the veteran right-hander Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez, 32 years old, from Maracay, Venezuela. 3-5 with an ERA of 6.23. Matt, he's not the same Anibal Sanchez the Phillies saw when he was with the Miami Marlins. A little different this year, a lot of mechanical issues, and that's why the high earned run average.
Well, that's the reason why the high earned run average. That's the reason why he's given up a lot of hits. He's given up 50 hits this year. You know, the scouting report on him has always been a guy that he likes to pitch at the bottom of the zone. And really, he's a guy that needs to go out there and attack the zone early and get the first pitch strike, and then he can mix in his 5 pitches that he has.
Usually has a lot of trouble the third time through the order. In fact, that's been well documented out here in Detroit. So here we go. Odubel Herrera will lead things off. The Phils try to take game 3 of this series after dropping the first 2. Odubel overall hitting .329, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. And the first pitch of the day on a bright sunshiny afternoon is swung on and missed. It's 0-1. 82 degrees, and it feels awesome here in Detroit. First time that we've had baseball, day baseball, where the temperature has been summer-like. It'll be Herrera, Galvis, and Maikel Franco. That ball is smoked out towards center field, but playable for Cameron Maybin. And a couple pitches, one away. All right, Matt, now it's time for our Nissan keys to today's ball game.
Well, number one, Phillies need to clean up the D. It's been shabby as of late. We saw it last couple of games, last 3 or 4 games. And for me, versus Sanchez, get the ball up in the zone. He's the guy that tries to work at the bottom of the zone. He throws 5 different pitches, so he wants to get those ground balls.
Last time he faced the Phillies was back in 2012. He went 6 1/3. He was facing the Phillies quite often when he was with the Marlins. In fact, the first 3 years against the Phillies, which was 5 games, he was 0-4 with an ERA of 8.34. But after that, 4-4 with an ERA of 3.79. 1 ball and 1 strike to Freddie Galvis. Galvis at .247 with 4 homers and 17 runs batted in. He also has 3 hits in this series. Phillies have not longed for hits in this series. They've longed for key hits. They have 2 home runs. Both are solo shots. Fastball, and it's 2-2.
You know, one thing we talk about mechanics for Sanchez, when you're a guy that throws 5 pitches, how can you get locked in on 1 or 2 pitches throughout a game? Because he throws them a lot.
Well, he just struck out Freddie Galvis on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, there are 2 outs. Maikel Franco's coming up.
It's the fastball, supposed to be inside. It comes back right down the middle of the plate. Freddie Galvis pulls off a little bit, doesn't make contact.
This season, Sanchez throws his fastball 53% of the time. Then the slider and the changeup are interchangeable. Curve and the cut fastball, I guess you could say, are interchangeable as well. Maikel Franco, 3 for 7 with a home run. And he starts him off with a pitch low. 1 ball, no strikes. Franco hitting .254 with 8 home runs, 26 runs batted in. It's a Phillies team that the last 7 games, they're 3-4. And their batting average is basically the same as it was during the rest of the season. .233 during those 7 games. Ground ball foul. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Beth Capaldi of Philadelphia. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Then Beth will win $200. Well, here's hoping, Beth. On the inside corner, it's 2-2. Now that's interesting, the little twist that Sanchez just showed. because that's something they've been trying to take out of his mechanics, and it's something we've seen him do since he pitched with the Marlins. Back toward the middle and knocked down by Aviles. He throws from his knee and throws wide, and Franco will be safe at first with a 2-out single.
I like the fact that Franco decided to go back up the middle with 2 strikes and get a knock. Aviles almost made a great play. He hesitated getting that ball out of his glove. If he would have got it out cleanly, probably would have robbed him for a base hit.
Well, now Tommy Joseph's coming up, who has 3 hits in this series. And talking to Tommy today about his night last night when he hit everything right on the nose and had a single and a sac fly basically to show for it. He had a line drive to shortstop that he smoked. He had a fly ball to left field that he smoked. And then, of course, the single through the hole on the left side and the sacrifice fly. But as he said, that shows him that he's getting comfortable with each passing day up here in the big leagues. Popped him up. Victor Martinez in foul territory. And the side is retired. For the Phillies in the first, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. On to the bottom of the first, it's the Phillies nothing, and the Tigers coming up for the first time. Park for the final game of this 3-game series between the Phils and the Tigers. Let's take a look at the Tigers lineup. It's presented by Gene Lamont this afternoon. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Maben, Martinez, and Cabrera. Victor Martinez, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Nick Castellanos, the third baseman, hits 5th, followed by Steven Moya in left field. And the bottom third of McCann, Aviles, and Iglesias. And they will face right-hander Aaron Nola, 3-3 on the year, an ERA of 2.85. He has 64 strikeouts in 60 innings of work. And we've already documented how much better his numbers are here on the road compared to home, which is shocking.
It is surprising. He got snake bit last out, and he had some defense behind him, some issues. But you know, one thing about his scouting report, he averages 90 miles an hour. I think it's more. He hides the ball so well, so the ball gets on you quicker than 90 miles an hour. He is a 3-pitch pitcher, and the league is hitting .084 versus his curveball.
Curveball has been fantastic, and he's got 2 different ones that he throws. Cameron Maben is 1 for 6 lifetime against him, and that's it as far as the starters go. Nobody else has faced Aaron Nola. Maben batting leadoff for Ian Kinsler, who continues to feel the flu-like symptoms that cost him a start in yesterday's game. Maben hitting .571 with a home run and 5 RBIs since coming off the disabled list. He has 16 hits. And it's quickly 1 ball and 2 strikes to him. This guy is going to be leaned on to be the stopper from time to time during his career, and today he's looking to stop a 2-game losing streak, and he gets the first strikeout of the day with a curveball swinging, and there's 1 out. Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. That'll bring J.D. Martinez to the plate. We haven't talked about it during this series, but J.D. Martinez is a fantastic story as far as baseball is concerned. At one time was a pretty big prospect in the Astros organization, but never really panned out. In fact, his last year with the Astros, he had 250 with 7 home runs. They released him, and he was out on the open market, and the Tigers picked him up. And you want to talk about a resurrection. 23 home runs and 38 home runs last year. Swing and a miss, 1-2. People say, well, how come you're doing it here and you couldn't do it in Houston with the Crawford boxes just staring you down in left field? And he said, I really have no explanation for it except for the fact that I got a clean slate when I left the Astros.
Clean slate, players around you, different hitting coaches. Maybe he's not in that pull mode like he was in Houston.
Oh, that's a good point.
Got into a bad habit.
When you're hitting in front of that guy right there, it does help. And he waves at a curveball, a much slower curveball than the first one. And Noel is putting on a little clinic. And there are 2 outs.
This is his number 2 curveball. That's the slower one. The one they struck out Maben was a hard curveball. That one there was the out front curveball. Tries to get the hitter out in front of it.
Phillies tried to throw the ball around as you normally do when you strike out a batter, and the throw went right past Michael Franco at third. He's hearing it from Freddie Galvis right now. Well, now Miguel Cabrera. And Cabrera on this homestand 4 for 7. 4 for 7. 3 runs scored, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. And that's over for a strike at 92 miles an hour on the outside corner.
That's the pitch right there. We know we've seen it this year, 9 starts so far, and now his 10th start. That's his bread and butter pitch, that backdoor sinker.
Boy, he jammed him there right on the knuckles. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Curveball swung on it, missed, and Aaron Nola has just struck out the side. He's used his curveball with 2 strikes all 3 times. And the Tigers go down 1-2-3. Well, good way to start the afternoon for Aaron Nola. We'll go to the second in a scoreless game. Phillies are currently in third place in the National League East, trailing the Washington Nationals, who will be in town next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for a 3-game series. All 3 games are at 7:05. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. You can check out the entire promotional schedule for the 2016 season. Here's Ryan Howard to lead it off in the top of the second, DHing again this afternoon. 1 ball and no strikes. Gene Lamont is managing today. Brad Ausmus, who was scheduled to leave the team on Friday for his daughter's graduation, had to leave suddenly earlier today. His mom passed away. So sad to hear that. He found out this morning when he got to the ballpark. So Gene Lamont is managing, and Alan Trammell is acting as his bench coach. Ball is low. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Fastball, and it's a strike, 2-2. Howard is 9 for 31 with 2 home runs against Anibal Sanchez.
Well, so far Sanchez's game plan is to throw a lot of fastballs.
That one is lined, and it's fair down the right field line. It hits that half wall. Boy, I thought a fan had touched that. They say no, so Ryan Howard will get a single. It's the second hit of the afternoon for the Phillies. Now they have the leadoff batter aboard.
Just fair.
Well, that replay shows that nobody touched it, and credit Aviles for getting on it so quickly. Cameron Rupp is coming up. The Phillies are actually reviewing that right now just to make sure that a fan didn't touch it. Pete Buchanan's looking over to Larry Boa, who's on the horn in the dugout. Now it can be challenged because it was a line drive into the outfield grass, and they are not going to challenge whether it should be a ground rule double. All right, so we have an off day tomorrow in Chicago. Then we're over to Wrigley Field, and Wrigley Field has some of the best sight lines outside the ballpark, although, Murph, I think you may have topped it with where you are today.
I think you may be right about that, Tom. As you know, I've been known to wander, and I'm wandering, and I found myself on top of the Detroit Athletic Club, the beautiful Detroit Athletic Club, and I am on the 7th floor, which is essentially a rooftop restaurant called the Stadium Club Restaurant. Now, the building itself is 100 years old, but the restaurant here, it is brand new, less than a year old, and certainly one of the hot spots to have lunch here in Detroit. What a view inside this ballpark. You're right. You know, I've been up top of those Wrigley rooftops, and they are spectacular, but this is straightaway center field right behind pitcher's mound. We are 781 feet away from home plate, but I can see every pitch. I just told our producer Jeff Halleckman that one pitch to Ryan Howard was a bit high, because I can see that from here, and you can see just about everything
Should
else.
Be high from there.
Well, yeah, you know, it was a little lower than me, but you know, I can see the historic Fox Theater over here to my left, the brand new Red Wings stadium that is being put up, the arena that is being put up, and of course Ford Field over here to my right as well. It is just absolutely stunning. 100-year-old building, but a brand new spot to catch a Tigers game here in Detroit. It really is terrific.
Well, the Detroit Athletic Club was first built when there weren't really country clubs around, golf course country clubs, and it's maintained its stature all these years.
Yeah, you know, if folks in Philadelphia have been to the Union League and are members of the Union League, it is a very similar kind of place inside. You walk into the lobby, it is absolutely stunning, and they actually have a reciprocal agreement with the Union League in Philadelphia, so if you're a member out there, happen to be spending some time in Detroit, you can make your way into the Detroit Athletic Club and be a part of the history that is here in downtown Detroit, guys.
Well, Murph, you say it's a great view, and you can see the pitches, and you can tell what's going on. Cameron Rupp just hit a ball up the middle. What was the play? What was the out call?
It was safe at second, out at first.
Okay, and who threw him out and what happened?
The shortstop threw him out. It was a very nice play by Iglesias. That's what it was.
He was giving a report at the time. So.
Yeah. Oh, I can multitask. I can do it. I can do it all. You know, I'm standing up here. I'm fairly certain. I think I can say this with certainty that Miguel Cabrera cannot reach me here. I don't think 781
I would hope
feet.
he cannot.
Yeah, I would would hope not as well. Certainly not today.
It looks like a great view. I'm hoping you're going to take a picture of it, send that on Instagram, what it looks like up there.
I will put it on the Instagram account. I'll also put it out on Twitter as well. It is a spectacular view on what is a almost perfect day for baseball here in Detroit, guys.
Are you going to become a member so you have a reciprocal agreement with the Union League?
Yeah, I've already looked into the paperwork. We're making it happen.
There's a line drive single to right field for Andres Blanco. And the Phillies have runners on first and third with one man down, and Tyler Goodell is coming up. A little station to station baseball right now for the Phillies, but they'll take it at this point. Well, we'll probably see Murph in the 5th inning, Matt, after he has lunch. He didn't have lunch earlier today.
I see he hasn't even left, and he just waved.
Yeah.
Now he's pointing.
If I know Murph, he's going to pick himself up a quesadilla. Goodell has a base hit in each game so far. He's 2 for 7. Last 21 games, he's hitting .318 with 7 RBIs. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. By the way, hopefully Cameron Rupp did not aggravate that sore ankle. He was sort of limping up the first base line, and that ball that he hit back toward the box. He told Mark Narducci the other day of Philly.com that, you know, it's going to take some time for him to get to be 100% after taking that hit at home plate. He said, but I recognize that. He said, even if I'm not 100%, I can still play. Goodell lifts it into shallow, well, actually to foul territory, and it's picked off by Castellanos, and there are 2 outs. No, not exactly what the Phillies wanted there.
No, it's not. And the first and third situation, I understand you want to be aggressive, but Tyler Goodell has 2 walks on the year. Now the scouting report is going to be he's very aggressive, swinging at a lot of pitches. So now he's got to get to that point where he's become patient and wait for his pitch, knowing that he's being aggressive. That's why they're going out of the strike zone versus him.
And you know, it seems like teams are getting him out, Matt, by running the ball inside to him. Peter Borges takes a strike. He has 2 hits against Anibal Sanchez in his career. 2 for 3 against Sanchez. Over to the right side. That'll sneak into right field, a base hit. Howard will score. Blanco's on his way to third. He'll get there. An RBI single for Peter Borges, and the Phillies strike first on top 1-0.
What a huge knock right there. That's picking your team up, getting that big 2-out knock, and I like the fact that Blanco went from first to third on the play. Just picks up the confidence of the team, and as a hitter, you get some confidence as well. Goes with the fastball low and away. Nice job staying on top of that ball and hitting it to right field.
RBI number 8 for Borges. That ended an 0 for 6 stretch for him. And Ryan Howard, who began the inning with a single, he has 2 singles in this series. Now Odubel Herrera, he fly to center his first time up. As that throw went over to first base, Andres Blanco went down the third base line pretty aggressively. Fastball taken for a strike. It's 0-1. Odubel is second in Major League Baseball in on-base percentage, second only to Ben Zobrist. Zobrist came into play today with a .449 on-base percentage. Odubel at .441 before the out was recorded his last time. Andres Blanco chatting with Juan Samuel, and again he burst down the line as that throw went over to first base. Odubel fouls it back.
I find it interesting. Odubel's first game, he got 3 knocks, hit the ball really well. His balance is really good. Now all of a sudden, this is what you call coming out of your back leg. See how all of a sudden that back leg straightens up? Instead of staying on that back leg and riding through the zone, now all of a sudden he's coming up, which means now the strike zone changes and you have a very slow swing, and that's the reason why he has that full body swing right now.
Runner goes from first. Pitch is taken high. McCann throws down towards second. Here comes Blanco. He's going to score. It'll be a double steal, and the Phils take a 2-0 lead. Stolen base number 3 for Peter Borges. Stolen base number 1 for Andres Blanco. I like that.
I do too. I love it, but it should never happen in the big leagues. You know you're going to try to steal a run. A team that's having a hard time scoring runs, you know you're going to do a double steal in that situation if he takes off. Great read, though, right there by Whitey. Great read. Great jump at first as well.
That one's pulled and smothered by Victor Martinez at first. The side is retired, but the Phillies do score 2 runs in the inning. An RBI single by Borges, and then Andres Blanco on the back end of a double steal led by Borges. It's 2-zip. It looked exactly the same up there at the Detroit Athletic Club as it looked back behind home plates.
What really happened with Ben Simmons at LSU?
Tomorrow we will go live to New Orleans to find out.
Plus, on the anniversary of this Scott Stevens hit on Eric Lindros, Flyers insider Tim Panaccio will join us.
We'll see you at 6 on the Comcast Network.
Well, here in Detroit, the Phillies lead 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos, and Steven Moya against Aaron Nola. Victor Martinez 4 for 7 in this series. Playing first base today, the former catcher. Came up as a catcher, and he was kind of an anomaly because he was a switch hitting catcher. No offense to Ben Davis, our partner. Victor Martinez, who was from Venezuela, like a lot of kids from Venezuela, grew up wanting to be Dave Concepcion or Omar Vizquel. He wanted to be a shortstop. And then during his teenage years, when his coach said, "You're no longer a shortstop, we're going to put you behind the plate," he all of a sudden started to cry. And he wanted to quit baseball. He said, "I don't want to be a catcher, I want to be a shortstop." And his mom said to him, "Why don't you just give it a try?" And let's face it, being a catcher, as that ball was bobbled by Franco, and he still was able to recover and throw out Victor Martinez, who was running like a catcher up the first base line. 5-3 on the putout, and there's one away. Anyway, his advice from his mom, why don't you just try it? He did, and
good choice.
Wound up coming to the big leagues, and it's turned out to be a heck of a hitter. Doesn't catch anymore, though. He's retired. Nick Castellanos will be the batter. Castellanos 3 for 6 in the series with a double and a home run. Pitch down low, 1 ball, no strikes. Curveball. I guess you could say that's a buckler.
That is. That's the slow knee buckler.
One-two pitch is lifted out toward right field. Peter Borges with the sunglasses on. And he makes the catch for the second out. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Steven Moya 1 for 7 in the series. Starts him off with a fastball inside, 1-0. Any changeups today, Matt? I don't remember seeing any changeups. You might see one here against Moya at some point. Last time out, the Braves stacked the lineup with 7 left-handed hitters. Bob McClure said, honestly, we didn't think it was that big of a deal. Off the hands, fouled back, and it's 1-2.
Well, and you think you're going to take away which pitch? He's still going to throw his curveball. He has that good curveball down and in. Lefties are hitting $173 compared to righties hitting $216 versus them.
I think that the pitch that they took away, and it wasn't only the Braves that took it away, but it was the home plate umpire too, was the fastball that comes back on the inside half of the plate. He just didn't get that call for most of that night, for one reason or another.
Well, and as a catcher, you should say, listen, this is the game plan to the umpire when you get a chance. Just make sure you stay on that pitch a little longer. Don't give up on it.
2-2 pitch. Curveball, tried to backdoor it. Slips outside, 3-2. It's his first 3-ball, 2-strike count of the day. Cameron wants it again. And he missed again. Same spot. Ball 4. And that'll bring James McCann to the plate.
It's an interesting call right there. 3 balls, 2 strikes. You're up by 2 in the second inning. Tells me they're going for the strikeout instead of an out. Now they're trying to strike him out instead of putting it into play and letting your defense make some plays behind you.
So you would have gone either changeup or
fastball.
Fastball. Okay. I thought fastball in would be where they would go on that. McCann played in the first game of this series. He was 0 for 4.
I mean, I'm not second guessing how they pitch because there must be a game plan of what's going on. I just like to see him pound that strike zone with a fastball, especially when you're up by 2. Make him earn his way on.
Comes down low, 1 ball, no strikes. Prior to the last start for Aaron Nola, and you saw the numbers, he went 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 earned. His last 5 games, he had gone 3-0 with an ERA of 1.32. And the opposition hit just $158 against him. That's how good he was. There's a ground ball to second, flipped underhand to Freddie Galvis covering, and the side is retired. A fielder's choice, 4-6 on the putout. No runs, no hits. Man left. We played 2-0 Phillies. like this, it's no surprise the Fanatic is streaking along the right field line. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com, go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Matt, who holds the Tigers record for most consecutive starts without a loss? Answer will be revealed a little later on.
We're going back a ways?
Not a ways. Not a ways. He's no longer here, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't Doyle Alexander?
It was not Doyle Alexander, and I've taken Justin Verlander off the table for you.
Scratch him off the table.
Freddie Galvis will lead it off. He struck out his first time up. Galvis runs up and takes a strike. It's 0-1. Freddie, by the way, was a big topic of conversation today in the clubhouse because his errorless streak is at 41. But even more than that, it's just how much he's improved from last year to this year as a defensive player. And Larry Bowa was pretty passionate today talking about it. He said Maikel Franco needs to be what Freddie Galvis is this year. So right now Maikel Franco is a lot like Freddie Galvis was last year, taking his at-bats out to the field. 1-1 is inside, 2-1. He said he and Freddie are pretty close, and hopefully Maikel can look at what Freddie has done, just have that same intensity every single moment of the game. Whereas if you're 0 for 4, you're still mentally exhausted after the game because you were so good defensively. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And yes, I hope he watches them, and I hope he changes the corner like Freddie did. But it took Freddie to learn a year,
correct,
to go in the offseason to realize that he cannot allow his hitting to affect his defense. And listen, we watch Freddie a lot, and he makes tremendous plays. I just noticed even this series how if it's a chopper, how he's attacking the ball. He's not taking the throw across the infield for granted. He's putting something on it, and it's chest high every time.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Galvis with Franco on deck. And a swing and a miss, and Galvis strikes out for the second time. 1 away. Franco, who reached on an infield hit his first time up, is coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy, who is back from high yonder way.
I am indeed, Tom. Back inside the ballpark, and
are you perspiring?
I am perspiring just a little bit. It's warm out here, but it's beautiful out here as well. Hey, good news. Obviously, the Phils put 2 runs on the board, so that is going to stop a trend of the Phils not being able to score runs. In fact, 3 of their last 5 games, they have scored 1 run or fewer, and that's certainly not going to win a lot of ball games. 10 times this year that has happened. They've won just 2 of those games. And just to put that in perspective, last year 34 times they scored 1 run or fewer in a game. They were 1-33 in those games. So, obviously you have to put some runs up on the boards. It has been a struggle at times for the Phillies this season, but I really like what we saw last inning, manufacturing some of those runs, because that's what this team needs to do. In terms of their offense, they're going to need to make things happen, and Pete McCann trying to make things happen today.
Well, and that's part of it too. What we talked about with Freddie Galvis and Maikel Franco, that the defense needs to be sound because those numbers that Murph just talked about have happened so often. There's such a small margin of error for this team to be successful. But that is good that they're able to put 2 on the board here in the second. 1 ball, no strikes to Joseph, who fouls it back to the right.
Oh, nice play. The guy didn't even know he had it. Caught it in the hat. But also, though, it's great that you scored 2 runs. Yeah, we got 4 hits already. Add on. Don't sit back. Take advantage of a guy on the mound who was struggling, and don't give at-bats away.
And Anibal Sanchez is a guy that would be categorized as a pitcher that is struggling, at least coming into this ballgame.
Correct.
Winless in the month of May. 0-3 with an ERA of 6.38 here in May. Off the end of the bat, a spinner. And Sanchez can't pick it up, and that is as big a knock as you're going to see.
See, last night he hits 4 on the screws. What happens today? He hits a little squibber down the line. He gets a knock out of it.
It still hasn't evened out, but it's the first step to evening out, Matt.
They never even out, but you'll take that today. Go to left. Ball goes to right. Hesitated right. Whoop.
That ball was spinning every which way.
Tremendous knock right there.
Here's Ryan Howard. He singled his first time up after singling last night for the first time in the month of May. Quickly gets no balls and 2 strikes. That one fouled back. Up high and a delayed steal. Joseph going to second base, and he is safe at second base. Tigers would like them to review this one. They feel like they were able to get the tag in time against Tommy Joseph. It looks like Tommy is safe. That's his first major league stolen base. You know, the delayed steal was utilized a lot during spring training by the Phillies. You know, they just want to throw it on the scouting report. But every time they did it, it worked. And this is only the second time they've used it here in the regular season.
I think it's a great weapon, especially the guys that don't run well.
That's exactly right. Spoken like a true base stealer, Matt.
Problem is, when I did the delayed steal, it was a really delayed steal. Like I really got a bad jump.
Swing and a miss, and Howard strikes out, and the side is retired. 3 strikeouts for Sanchez, no runs, 1 hit. It went a mile, by the way. 1 man left in scoring position. Middle of the third, 2-0 Phillies on top.
Buddy hustled.
The Phillies are. Protect them with Independence Blue Cross. They're part of a national system of Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans that cover more than 100 million members across the country. Live fearless. Learn more at ibx.com/biz. Well, there was a thought that you would need an umbrella a little later on in the day, not for the sun, but for the rain. There's some storms that are going to be coming through this area as the Phillies head to Chicago. Phillies lead at 2-0 as we begin the third. Bottom of the third, that is. Mike Aviles leads it off. He takes a strike. It's 0-1. Aviles was a proud papa today. His daughters, his twin daughters, Adriana and Maya, threw out the first pitch before today's ball game. Adriana was diagnosed with leukemia a couple years ago, and today she and her sister threw out the first pitch to emphasize some of the needs for patients with leukemia, as that one is pulled down the left field line, and that will be the first hit of the afternoon for the Tigers. It turns out to be a leadoff double, and the first double of the year for Aviles. And he's in scoring position right out of the chute.
Comes on an 0-2 curveball. Again, don't get in a routine of getting to 2 strikes and trying to put them away every time with the curveball, because hitters will make the adjustment and start sitting on a curveball, which it looked like he did there.
Yeah, it's a very good curveball, but when you know it's coming, it might be a little easier to take a whack at it. Here's Iglesias. He's hitless in 7 at-bats in this series. And what has become a tradition, the Phillies pitcher turns back towards second base as the runner takes the lead the first time through. Corners are in. If we were in the National League, the pitcher would be up, and this would be a bunt situation. The American League, with this lineup, not so much.
No.
Although if you were the Royals, you might do it.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
But I am kind of surprised that you don't, one thing in the American League is really you don't bunt for sacrifice. But what's wrong with push bunting and trying to get a knock out of it?
There's a line drive off the backside of Aaron Nola into center field. A run will score. It's a 2-1 ball game. RBI single for Iglesias, his first hit of the series. Looks like Aaron Nola's okay. This ball is drilled. I mean, it hit him hard because it got out to center field pretty quickly. So the Tigers get a run back. Cameron Maben will be the hitter. He struck out his first time up.
Be interested to see how the Detroit hitters approach Aaron Nola second time through. Do they want to be aggressive with the fastball? Maybe sit on this curveball? I'm going to say they're going to be aggressive on this fastball.
I would agree with that. There's a fastball at the knees. That one is chopped back toward the mound. They'll get 1, and that'll be at first. Up to second base goes Iglesias. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com. By Jefferson, call 800-JEF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by your local Ford stores. One gone. JD Martinez, he struck out his first time up. One of 3 strikeouts for Nola. All 3 took place in the first inning. Curveball fouled at home plate.
And all 3 curveballs in the first inning were all 3 differently thrown. The swing and miss, the knee buckler, and the backup curveball.
Yeah, he has become a magician with it. One ball and one strike. Try to get it in on the hands.
I mean, look at that's a great grip. You see that totally underneath that ball right there. Nice hard curveball. It's a great shot.
Dots a fastball to the outer edge, and it evens up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's the pitch I thought we'd see more of today. Instead, he's tried to pitch the right-handers in pretty hard through the first time through the order.
Phillies starters this year compared to last year, there's been a drastic change in the strikeouts per 9 innings and the whip numbers, the walks and hits per innings pitched. Last year it was 1.45. That's pretty high. And this year it's 1.2. That's teetering toward pretty low. And a strike 3 called. JD Martinez down looking. 4th strikeout for Nola. Phillies staff, their entire pitching staff, 8.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. Last year, 7.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. And here is strikeout number 4 for Nola.
Again, you can see the 2-seam grip. JD Martinez takes a fastball right down the middle. Why? Because he struck out his first at bat with the 2 strikes on a curveball. Sitting on a curveball, gets surprised. Nice changing up right there.
All right, let's see how they handle Miguel Cabrera with the tying run at second base here in the 3rd. I would think they're going to be awfully careful with him, even though Victor Martinez is in the on-deck circle. I think that was his first changeup that he's thrown today.
81.
One ball, 1 strike to Cabrera. Fastball topped to the left of the mound. Nola's got it, sets himself and throws in time. And the side is retired. 1 run scores, 2 hits, 1 man left in scoring position. We've completed our first 3 on this day game. It's 2-1 Phils.
Deliver unmatched quality, and their Jet Intelligent Toner cartridges print up to 1/3 more pages. Get yours from who but WB Mason today, and experience the difference. Nobody beats WB on HP. Phillies fans are all over the ballpark here today, and I'm sure they will follow the ball club to Chicago. It's about, what do we figure out, Matt? A little less than 4 hours?
Yep.
Phillies will fly. They'll leave at 6 p.m. and they'll arrive at 6 p.m.
Just before the thunderstorms.
Just before the thunderstorms. Lose an hour. Gain an hour, actually. Gain an hour. Cameron Rupp will lead it off. It'll be Rupp, Blanco, and Tyler Goodell here in the 4th against Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez is one of those pitchers who has a cherished memento that's part of his resume. It was a no-hitter thrown on September 6, 2006 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. In fact, that no-hitter, it ended the longest no-hit gap in Major League Baseball history, 2 years and 4 months. The no-hitter before that was Randy Johnson's perfect game. Now there seems to be 3-4 no-hitters a year.
A week.
Or a week.
You're always getting a no-hitter update, 6th, 7th, 8th inning.
Strike one. It's 3-1 to Cameron Rupp. There's Andres Blanco waiting on deck. Three and two to Cameron. I guess he was expecting something else on that 3-1 pitch.
Yeah, I don't think he was looking for the fastball in their third.
He does not get it that time, and he fouls it over the tarp down the right field line. A little more spark to that swing there, but it remains 3-2. Fly ball right field. JD Martinez angling toward it and puts it away. And there's one out here in the 4th inning. Tonight at 7:30, the first place Philadelphia Union are in the Sunshine State to take on the Eastern Conference rival, the Orlando City SC. Union versus Orlando City tonight at 7:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Andres Blanco singled his first time up and then came around to score one of the 2 runs for the Phils. Takes a curve ball bit high, 1-0. That one spun out towards shortstop, smothered by Iglesias, and he has no chance to throw out Andres Blanco.
Should be a hit.
That ball was hit awfully hard. Now, he does not have an error this year. I mean, it was right at him, but it was hit hard.
Yeah, but if you're going to give that hit last night, the one that Franco missed at third, this is one's definitely, because this is an absolute missile, and it bounces up right here on his chest. Again, it is the big leagues. He needs to make that play, but the way we've seen the scoring at times, should be a knock.
Tyler Goodell popped out to foul territory his first time up. And he takes a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1.
It actually went off his chest because he booted it.
They have scored it an error, the first of the year for Iglesias. One of the finer defensive shortstops in Major League Baseball. He's feeling it still. Towering pop-up foul, and it's 0-2. And a line drive base hit it to left field. Pretty nice swing. Ball is knocked down by Moya, and that's going to allow both base runners to move up. It's going to go down as the second error of the inning for the Tigers. A single E7. At least to allow Goodell to go to second base. I think Blanco was going to third anyway.
Yeah, he was. Blanco knows that Moya was going to his left. It's very tough for a guy to go into his left to spin and throw a strike to third base. But good base runner being aggressive, putting the pressure on the outfielder. Made him bobble it. Now you have second and third. Well, he just booted it.
So 2 errors in the inning for the Tigers. Single and E7. And here is Peter Borges with runners on second and third. And Borges waves at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Fouled back to the screen. It's 0-2. Borges had that rolling single through the right side his first time up. Took about a minute to get out to right field, but he'll take it.
This is where you think about playing Pepper with the guys up the middle.
Popped it up, foul territory, and that should get out of play, and it does. Up high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. All right, we're getting to the point in the game, maybe not innings wise, but certainly lineup wise, where Sanchez has labored the most during this season, in which he has an ERA of over 6. Borges is the last batter, the second time through. Punches it foul. And it hangs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Active leaders in losses to the Phillies. 2 of them are on the Tigers. Actually, 3 of them are on the Tigers. I forgot about Mike Pelfrey. 1-2 pitch. Inside, 2-2. Gene Lamont looks down, sees 68 pitches so far for Anibal Sanchez. Swing and a miss, and Borges strikes out. That could turn out to be a huge strikeout for Sanchez. And here comes Odubel Herrera. It's 4 strikeouts for Sanchez today.
Pretty good off-speed pitch, has a late bite.
Odubel is 0 for 2. He was hitless in yesterday's game and struck out 3 times. In fact, he is 0 for his last 7. Doesn't normally let stretches of no hits extend too far. Takes a fastball right down the chute. It's 0-1.
I don't mind him taking that pitch if he's working on something. He took that pitch. He didn't just stand up. He was working on his stance, maybe getting his timing down. You saw him shaking his head saying, okay, maybe that's what I need to do right there.
Way upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets lead the Nationals 1-0. David Wright with his 6th home run of the year. Nationals sitting atop the National League East. Mets are in 2nd. Phillies are in 3rd. Outside, 2-1. Down the right field line. That ball is smoked deep to right field. It is gone. A 3-run home run for Odubel Herrera. It's home run number 5 for Herrera. And the Phillies now lead it 5-1. Man, he killed it.
What a great swing that was.
Well, we said he doesn't usually let these hitless stretches go too long.
Talk about getting a hanging curveball or hanging off speed. Think he knew he got it right here. Now all of a sudden the balance is back, stays on that back leg, doesn't come out of the stance. Crushes that ball to right field.
Makes a winner out of Beth Capaldi in the McDonald's home run jackpot. Beth has just won $200. And now Freddie Galvis the hitter, and Galvis takes a breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
Another big 2-0 knock, picking up your teammates.
Galvis pops it up over towards shortstop. Iglesias, whose error opened the floodgates in this inning, puts it away, and the side is retired. 3 unearned runs score for the Phillies in the innings, excuse me, thanks to the home run by Odubel Herrera. Odubel's home run is 5th of the season. Got his foot down, and he crushed it to right field. It'll be 5-1 Phillies as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning here in Detroit. Visit buyatoyota.com to find your RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places. Let's go Phillies. 5-1 Phillies on top thanks to the 3-run home run by Odubel Herrera. Here is Victor Martinez to lead it off. He grounded out to Maikel Franco playing on the right side of the diamond his first time up. Aaron Nola is going to be the envy of the entire pitching staff, getting a 4-run lead to work with, getting 5 runs of support, at least up to this point. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Martinez, and he slaps it foul. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers last got back to the postseason in 2014. They lost in the divisional round that year. 2013 they lost in the American League Championship. 2012 they lost in the World Series. 2011 they lost in the American League Championship. And 2006 they lost in the World Series. I guess you're sensing a pattern here. They get to the postseason, but they're not able to get through the World Series, at least since 1984. It's kind of remarkable with all the teams that you've seen here in Detroit that Justin Verlander has sort of spearheaded, that they've been unable to get to the finish line with the World Championship. That one is poked the other way, and it slices foul. That involves Sanchez walking off, extremely upset. Those 3 runs that he allowed. Now, he allowed the home run, but the 3 runs are unearned because of the error by Iglesias. He might be even more upset in about a week or 10 days when they change that to a base hit, if they change it to a base hit. Swing and a miss. He got him with a curveball. 5 strikeouts for Aaron Nola. And 1 out for Nick Castellanos.
Great location. You can see Cameron wants this curveball down. Throw the ball right here. Start it up my glove. It'll get out of the strike zone, and you'll get a swing and miss.
Castellanos flying out to right field his first time up. He's 0 for 1. That strikeout is the 5th of the day for Aaron Nola. As a staff, it's the 264th of the season, which is 5th in the National League. Starters win total is 7th. Cubs starters have 24 wins so far. Batting average against is 4th.
Changeup.
Yep.
Nice changeup.
And a different spot for that changeup. It almost looked like his 2-seamer. Castellanos did not think it was a strike, but I think he was fooled more than anything else. And now the 0-2 pitch. They go upstairs, and he bounces it toward third. Charging is Franco. Makes a nice play. The final Hatfield Dollar Dog Night of the season will be June 2nd when the Phillies take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Stop on by the box office if you'd like. You can do it there. Here's Moya, who walked his first time up. Inside. Moya was having a heck of a year down in AAA when the Tigers brought him up. He had 24 RBIs and 39 hits in a short period of time. A high chopper foul down the first base line. That was really close. But the first base umpire, Quinn Walcott, was leaning that way the whole time. 2-1. Fly ball center field. Odubel Herrera will trot back and high step his way to it. And that'll do it for the Tigers. 6 in a row retired by Aaron Nola. We'll head to the 5th. It's 5-1 Phillies. '18th to 3:05 start against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and all fans coming to the ballpark will receive the AT&T Maikel Franco Bobble figurine. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com for that day. Franco will lead it off here in the 5th inning. I think you mentioned the other day that almost looks like the swing that he took the other day.
Right there,
it is. Home run. There we go. Franco, Odubel Herrera, and Ryan Howard are the only 3 guys that have 3-run home runs this year for the Phillies. Odubel's just took place in the 4th. Franco hit one in April, and Ryan Howard hit one at the beginning of May. So only 3 3-run home runs. Earl Weaver would be sick to his stomach if he was managing the Phillies. One ball, 1 strike to Franco. And at the knees, 1-2. Ball gets away. And time is called. And a liner out toward left field. Moya, a few steps from the track, makes the catch. And 1 away. And Tommy Joseph is coming up.
At times I'd like to see Franco, when he's struggling a little bit, he's over swinging. I'd love to see him go into his 2-strike stance right away. It just seems like he stays on the ball a little longer. He thinks about using the whole part of the field. I mean, he hit that ball pretty good to left field. He actually just missed that ball. He got jammed a little bit.
Fly ball to center field. Maven. The wind is going to take it back in. Boy, it really took it back in. 2 outs. Yeah, and as far as Franco's concerned, there are ballparks that ball's out too. I mean, this is a pretty deep park, or at least it's to the wall.
Right.
Probably another 3 or 4 years before the Phillies come back to Detroit to see the Tigers. They'll stay in the American League Central and face the White Sox later on this year.
Minnesota Twins.
Phillies have been to Target Field.
Oh, have you? I've never been there before.
You never been there?
No.
Are you on that trip?
Nope. I got benched.
You want to come out anyway? We'll get your tickets.
No thanks.
You sure?
No, I get that player's card. I can get my own tickets.
Oh, okay. Well, if you need more than one.
I can get 2 of those ones.
No balls and 2 strikes. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, and Howard has struck out for the 2nd time, and it's a 1-2-3 5th inning for Anibal Sanchez. Phillies go down quietly. We've played 4 1/2. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th with the Phillies up 4. Citizens Bank minor league report. We'll take a look at what happened in Lehigh Valley. Zach Eflin went 7 innings, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. A loss to Pawtucket. Boy, he has pitched really well. Meanwhile, Reading defeated Erie 11-9. Reese Hoskett, a walk-off grand slam for the Reading Fightins. Scott Kingery, 3 more hits for Clearwater. And Josh Tobias, a double for Lakewood. Headed to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Detroit. Phillies lead at 5-1. And James McCann will lead things off. No relation to Brian McCann. Last year, wherever he went, people thought, "Are you Brian McCann's brother?" And he said, "No, I'm not Brian McCann's brother." You would understand why. They're both catchers. Both wear the same number. A little different in build.
One's a righty, one's a lefty.
One's a righty, one's a lefty.
One has a cannon, one not so much.
1 ball, no strikes to McCann. And he takes low, 2-0. Speaking of relatives, Brian Gorman, who's the home plate umpire today, and Mike DeMuro, who's the second base umpire, they are one of 7 father-son combinations to umpire Major League Baseball games. kind of an oddity that both are in the same game as McCann. Bloops one out towards center for a base hit. Brian Gorman's dad, Tom Gorman, was a longtime umpire. And Mike DeMuro's father, Lou, was a longtime umpire. His brother, Ray, was also an umpire for a short period of time. See father-son combinations be a little more common as far as the players go. And you're seeing it a little bit more as far as umpires go. Mike Avila's doubled and scored his first time up. I think it's what you know as far as the son goes. All those years he watched his dad go to work as an umpire and thought, wow, that's a pretty good life.
I think it'd be interesting to be an umpire, to have that control of a game like a catcher. Catchers have the control of what's going to be called, what not to call.
I think it would be so hard to do it through the years in the minor leagues because there's so few jobs for umpires, and the pay is minuscule in the minor leagues, and you're always on the road. I mean, you're always on the road in the big leagues, but you're staying in a little different hotel.
Yeah, you're getting great meal money. The minimum wage for a big league umpire is a ton. And you're staying at 5-star hotels.
Yeah, I remember back in the minor leagues in AA, we hosted the All-Star game in Trenton one year, and I was in charge of a lot of the things that went on with the players and with the umpires. I had to make sure the umpires were there and get the right ones, and we gave them a bonus for doing the All-Star game. And I left it for them in the umpire's room, and all of a sudden, an hour later, there was a knock at the door at the front office, and it was the two umpires who had left and didn't realize how much we had given them, and then wound up coming back just to thank us because they were so overwhelmed with the gesture. I don't remember what it was. It might have been $500 apiece. That pitch a little low, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike, but that tells you that they don't make a whole lot of cash.
No, they don't. They put a lot of hours, a lot of work, a lot of hard work to get to the big leagues.
3 balls, 1 strike to Aviles with runner on first base. He backed off. It's 3-2. Aviles not happy with that call. Well, he better get back in or he's going to be asked to leave. I think if he had stayed in there, he might have been given the pitch. That one's out towards shortstop. Tough hot for Freddie Galvis, and they get the lead runner. And there's one away, and Andres Blanco may have been spiked on that. Fielder's choice. And here comes Iglesias.
Now, Aviles, is he angry that the ball was borderline strike, or is he angry that he didn't get time called?
Boy, that's a good question. He's pleading his case with Omar Vizquel right now.
Because if he's looking for a strike call and he backs it like that, I'm calling a strike no matter what. You want to walk that bad? Like, I don't understand if he's trying to figure out if he was asking for time or complaining about the pitch. One, how would he know if the height was good?
Well, that's it. Iglesias singled home run his last time up with Aviles on second base. He's still not happy about it.
I believe he's angry because he was asking for timeout, and the umpires did not have to give you timeout.
Yeah, he didn't put his hand up.
No.
He must have just been asking for timeout. Curveball. That one spins back in for a strike. Yeah, he was asking for time. Down and away, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Everything is so easy for Aaron Nola. I think everything seems to just come out of his hands so easy.
That was a quick pitch or slide step, quick pitch, changeup.
He's ahead 1 ball, 2 strikes to the pitch coming to Iglesias. Take it inside, 2-2. They do appeal. No swing, says Quinn Walcott. Curveball spun off the end of the bat. Blanco charges and bobbles it. It spun right out of his glove. It'll be an E4. And that'll put runners on first and second with 1 man down. He was going to have to hurry to get Iglesias. I don't know if he was going to try to flip it with his glove or not, but the ball was spinning, so he could not grab it.
Well, I think he was going to do the exchange. Just didn't go in his glove far enough.
I think you're right. Yep. Looking at the replay, it looked like he was going to get the hand in there to try to flip it.
Feel the glove.
Inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
Base hit.
All righty then. I mean, Iglesias moves well, but if he had fielded that cleanly, he was out by 2 or 3 steps. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, everybody's judgment is different, and sometimes your judgment is skewed when you're scoring at a home ballpark. Curveball line to center field. That'll be in for a base hit. Rounding third, heading for home is Aviles. The throw rightfully goes to the cutoff man. It's an RBI single. 5-2 ball game. Cameron Maybin has now hit in 9 straight games. JD Martinez, who has struck out twice, is the next batter. Well, it was a curveball that was just left up a little bit.
Yeah, stayed in the middle of the plate. Hits it off the bat, the ball off the bat, very end of it. That's the second knock today that's come off a curveball.
Swing and a miss by JD Martinez. It'll be Martinez then Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers. So Nola's trying to get through this 5th inning. He's allowed 1 run already. He's ahead 0-2. All right, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. He got him on a curveball the first time.
Yep, he did.
And then a fastball the second time?
Fastball looking the second
time, right. No balls and 2 strikes to JD Martinez. Over toward the hole, past the diving Maikel Franco into left field. Rounding third and scoring is Iglesias. It's now a 5-3 ball game. And runners remain on first and second with 1 man down. Well, Bob McClure is coming out. It's now 3, 4, and 5, Murph, that Aaron Nola will have to deal with and try to get his last couple outs in this inning.
Yeah, obviously that is a tough task for Aaron Nola. It has been a tough task all series long for Phillies pitching. The 3, 4, and 5 guys in this lineup, Cabrera, Victor Martinez, and Castellanos, have just done some yeoman's work in knocking in runs. In fact, 11 of 20 coming into tonight's game. They are 11 of 24 runs, 7 RBIs between the 3 of them. Now, Aaron Nola's done a very nice job so far in this game, being able to get through the gauntlet, the 3, 4, and 5. He's going to need to do it here as well.
First up is Miguel Cabrera, who is 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. It's a 5-3 ball game here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tying run is over at first base. And a curveball waved at it, missed. It's 0-1. Miguel Cabrera hitting .517 on this homestand. And since the 25th of April, a scorching hot .396. And he breaks his bat out toward second base, caught by Blanco, and a late infield fly rule is called. The head of the bat went into the stands,
which was caught by a fan.
He caught it, which is incredible and fortunate. And there are 2 outs. Look at that. Oh.
Good pitch, and this just absolutely saws him off.
Look at the bat. You can just barely see it coming in.
But luckily, the barrel stayed down, the heavy part.
Right, not the
pointy part.
Well, he gets Miguel Cabrera. Now it's Victor Martinez. Martinez 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's also struck out. Pickoff play is on at second base, and Maben is back. Victor Martinez is 3rd in the American League in batting average with runners in scoring position, a cool .400. Cabrera DHing today, hanging on to his bat after being sawed off on his last AB. And a line drive base hit it to right field. This is going to be a 1-run game. Borges able to cut that off. Going to third base is J.D. Martinez. An RBI single for Victor Martinez. It's 5-4. Well, they are not going to go away easy. Not the way they're swinging on this homestand. And Nick Castellanos will be the batter.
Now, they're definitely hit with a lot of confidence when they step in that batter's box. They all have a game plan and a very good idea what they want to do, and they're actually making very solid contact.
They are. And now Castellanos, who's a .359 hitter with runners in scoring position, hitless in 2 at-bats today. Phillies lead it by 1. Curveball drops in. It's 0-1. Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos among the league leaders in hitting in the American League. Fouled back. Throw his 84th pitch of the afternoon. Check swing. Did he go? No, says Quinn Walcott. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Martinez leads off third. JD Martinez, that is. Victor Martinez leads off first. Swing and a miss. He got him with a curveball, and the side is retired. 6 strikeouts for Aaron Nola, but the Tigers do score 3 runs to make it a 1-run game. We'll go to the 6th inning. It's 5-4 Phils. Showing how value can be found in the Rule 5 drafts. Tyler Goodell struggled to start the season, but during the last 2 weeks has found his swing. And because of its finding his name in Pete Macadam's lineup on a more frequent basis. In addition to his offense, he has handled his outfield duties well, including his perfect throw from left field when he connected with Cameron Rupp on this game-ending play, capturing another Phillies win. This California kid is starting to shine, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, that California kid will get a chance to bat here in this top of the 6th inning. It's a 1-run game. Cameron Maybin's RBI single helped ignite a 3-run inning for the Tigers. And now Cameron Rupp will lead it off against Anibal Sanchez. Rupp is 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's also flied out to right field. Fly ball to right this time. Going back on it is JD Martinez. It's carrying pretty well toward the wall, and he makes the catch. Where did that come from? It looked like a routine fly ball to right.
And if the wind wasn't blowing in from right field, it probably would have been a home run.
Absolutely would have been a home run. Well, 1 pitch, 1 out, and Andres Blanco is coming up. Blanco has scored a couple runs in today's game. His base hit his first time up ended an 0 for 9 stretch. Two balls, no strikes to Blanco. Anibal Sanchez, after his 14-8 season a few years ago and his ERA of 2.57 that year, He signed a 5-year, $80 million contract to stay with the Tigers. Last couple of years. Last year because of the rotator cuff injury. Now this year because of his problems in the month of May. He hasn't necessarily lived up to that contract. Tigers fans are thinking, well, why don't we just re-sign Max Scherzer? Part of that was that Scherzer looked like he wanted to go elsewhere.
Plus, he had a 2 in front of his contract.
He sure did. Sanchez is digging out the mound. It looked like he signaled for somebody to come out. Rich Doobie's going to come out. Maybe the groundskeeper is going to come out as well. Almost looks like he's saying that the clay is loose around the pitcher's mound plate, the rubber. Well, if they're going to get the groundskeeper out, let's get the groundskeeper out. Somebody just signaled 1 minute from behind home plate, so they must have had to make a phone call. I think a rake is he's going to need something more than a rake. Here he comes with the rake. Here comes some clay. All right, so we got it straight now. Hey, Phillies Baseball Academy is open for business. Call 610-520-3400 for more information, or go to the community section at Phillies.com. Baseball and softball camps for girls and boys age 6 to 14. 4 divisions allow for age-appropriate instruction, professional coaching, and skill development from Phillies players, coaches, and Baseball Academy instructors. Well, they're going to throw some clay down, then they're going to tamp it down, and Sanchez will get a chance to throw a few pitches. Boy, it didn't look like there was much clay that was kicked away from that area. This is the rest of the interleague schedule for the Phillies. They're in Toronto on the 13th and 14th of June, and then come right back home to face the Blue Jays at Citizens Bank Park. Then on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, they go to Minnesota. They host the defending American League champs. And then they've got a home and home with the White Sox. Play them in August out in Chicago, and play them at home at Citizens Bank Park. The surprising Chicago White Sox, who currently lead the American League Central. Well, Matt, is the rubber to your liking out there?
Well, we'll see after a couple warm-up pitches. See if it's all right. If it doesn't give away. Actually, not going to get any. There he goes. Backstop.
Yeah. I don't think he can say he can't like it at this point. He's going to have to just go with it. Yep, that's good, he said. There is bullpen action. Kyle Ryan is loosening up in the pen for the Tigers, the big lefty.
How great would it be a 3-0 fastball? It's a home run.
Well, he does get a fastball. It's ball 4. And Blanco is aboard. Goodell coming up. Tyler Goodell singled his last time up. Time before that, he popped out to third. You read so much about how Anibal Sanchez is no longer doing the little twist out on the mound, but he's done it a bunch of times here this afternoon.
Really, he has about 3 different windups. He does the twist. He doesn't even turn his hip sometimes, and then he does the regular windup like most people do. Again, pick one that feels comfortable and stay with it.
Runner goes, and the pitch is swung on a miss. The throw to second base is in time. Is that a hit and run, Matt?
Yes, it is.
The hit part just didn't take place.
Yep. Swung right through it.
2-4 on the put out. Even if Goodell had made contact, he's probably going to pull that ball.
Not a bad jump. McCann has a good throwing arm. Not even close to second base.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Goodell didn't look very happy with the swing. He missed it. Walked away for a second.
In the dirt, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
See, that wind up there was totally different than one previous. I don't understand why pitchers try to trick hitters.
Yeah,
just use your stuff. You're in the big leagues for a reason.
out toward right field. Martinez on the run out toward that well, and he makes the catch. That'll do for the Phillies here in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. We've played 5.5 on to the bottom of the 6th. The Phillies 5 and the Tigers 4. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Buy Nissan. ShopChooseNissan.com. And buy Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Last of the 6th inning here in Detroit. Phillies lead it by 1, 5-4. We've talked a lot about the connections between the Tigers coaching staff and the Phillies. The Phillies have a connection to the Tigers on their coaching staff, and it's Juan Samuel, Phillies third base coach, who played here in Detroit at the old ballpark, but also coached here in Detroit, coached first base and third base for the Tigers. He handled the outfielders as Moya hits one back towards second. Diving stop by Blanco, throws to first in time to get Moya. What a play by Andres Blanco. Quick first step, and he was able to throw out the big outfielder. Well, here it is. I know you've been waiting for it. It's our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Yeah, Blanco does a nice job, and you're right, Tom. His first step was tremendous. Laying out, making a very nice play. But look how quick he gets up and takes that ball out of his glove. Off balance and throws a strike to first base. Good concentration. Nice dive, nice throw, good play all around. That is your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
So one away, and here's James McCann. McCann is 1 for 2. Single to fielder's choice. Takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. I was talking to Sammy today. You know, in our first game of the series, Al Kaline, the Hall of Famer for the Tigers, he was walking around the ballpark looking for Juan Samuel. He was looking for him for about 10 minutes or so, asking around, where's Sammy? And I said to Sammy today, I said, did you talk to Al? He said, yes, I did. I said, so were you close with him when you were here in Detroit? He said, close with him. He said, I was in charge of the outfielders, and every spring training, Al Kaline would be in uniform helping me with the outfielders. 1 ball, 1 strike to James McCann. Outside, 2-1. Al was a fantastic outfielder during his day. Just a fantastic player overall. And Sammy said he used to love, Al Kaline used to love teaching the young outfielders how to play their position. Curveball. Must have missed inside. There's Juan Samuel. Now, Sammy was not too shabby a ball player in his own right. Probably a better second baseman than he was an outfielder, but he could teach guys a thing or two. Blanco, glove side, throws out McCann. 2 outs.
Blanco's probably wishing for a nice, easy ground ball. Iglesias hit that weak, that spin off the end of the bat one earlier. Diving catch, that one there was a rocket.
Got to be on your toes, Matt. Aviles has scored 2 runs today. Tommy Joseph makes the catch, and the side is retired. Well, Comerica Park is a beautiful place to watch a baseball game. That is the site of old Tigers Stadium, where they are putting the finishing touches on Ernie Harwell Park. That place was a great place to watch a game. Maybe not for a full season, but maybe as a vacationer from time to time. Time now for our Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Odubel Herrera's 3-run home run in the 4th inning gave the Phils a 5-1 lead. The Tigers, though, scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Aaron Nola's gone 6. We go to the 7th for Sanchez. The first time this year he has gone into the 7th inning. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Double-barreled action by the Tigers. 0-2 pitch to Borges, and he hits that one to deep left center field. Moya's going back. It is gone into the Phillies bullpen. It's the first home run of the year for Peter Borges, and the Phils lead it now 6-4. Boy, that was a shot.
This is an absolute bomb. He hits the left field. Taking advantage of a mistake pitch.
Last home run was in September of 2015.
It's a good swing right there. The barrel stayed through the zone. Caught by his teammate, Mr. Hernandez.
Well, David Hernandez warming up in the bullpen, and he was able to make that catch. Sanchez's afternoon is complete. He's given up 2 home runs. So we've got a pitching change here at Comerica Park. Peter Borges has given the Phils a 2-run lead. That ball was just floating up and yelling, "Hit me!" And Peter Borges did just that. June 19th, it's a 1:35 first pitch at Chevrolet Father's Appreciation Day. A Hawaiian shirt free to all men 15 and older. Tickets can be purchased now by going to Phillies.com. You know, Matt, we used to wear those Hawaiian shirts on television. They weren't necessarily red. Let's see, there was a tan one with all kinds of Phillies characters on it. There was a couple of blue ones.
And the reason why we stopped is
they weren't ordered. You're going to get your chance to wear one again, though. Here's Kyle Ryan to take over for the Tigers here in the top of the 7th inning. Odubel takes a strike. It's 0-1. Ryan 1-1 at an ERA of 2.89. Ryan has not pitched in this series. His last appearance was in the Tampa series. He went an inning and a third, allowed 1 run. Last several games have not been all that kind. Here's Odubel Herrera's home run back in the 4th inning.
Great swing. Mistake pitch, off speed up in the zone. Destroyed it to right field.
Numbers from the 7th inning on for Odubel Herrera. Up high, 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Odubel Herrera strikes out. 1 gone here in the 7th. Freddie Galvis is coming up. Galvis is hitless in 3 at-bats today. Struck out a couple times, popped out to shortstop. Freddie pops that one up over toward the Phillies dugout. Victor Martinez gives it a look, and it's caught in the first row. No balls at 1 strike to Galvis. Aaron Nola kicking back in the dugout. He may be done. David Hernandez has been warming up in the pen. Off the hands. Martinez won't get to this one. And it's back into the crowd. Phillies bullpen, particularly Hernandez, Neris, and Genmar Gomez, haven't really worked a whole lot. Out to shallow right center field. Maben comes running in. He won't get it. It'll drop it for a base hit. And Freddie Galvis has his 4th hit of the series. And here comes Maikel Franco. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. The Cubs are down at St. Louis, and they lead the Cardinals 6-4. Ben Zobrist 2 for 2, 2 RBIs, a run scored. Gene Lamont heading out to the mound, and that may be it for Kyle Ryan. Maikel Franco and Tommy Joseph are due up, so we're going to have another pitching change here in Detroit. Phillies lead it 6-4. Looking for a little bit more when we return to Comerica Park. The Cubs. Michael Barkan of the gang will talk about it. Watch Philly Sports Talk presented by Comcast Business after Phillies postgame live here on CSN. Kyle Ryan is done. Alex Wilson's day is beginning. He'll take over out on the mound. Wilson, 17 ball games, a 4.11 earned run average. Originally the property of the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox sent him here to Detroit along with Yoenis Cespedes. Rick Porcello went from the Tigers to the Red Sox. Maikel Franco will be the batter. That one's fouled back behind home plate. 0-1. Alex Wilson is out of Texas A&M. He was originally drafted by the Cubs, didn't sign, and then eventually drafted by the Red Sox and did sign. That one is looped out to left center field. That'll be in for a base hit. Galvis hustling around second, heading to third. He'll get there. And the Phillies now have runners on first and third with one man down. Boy, it would be nice to tack on a couple more runs here, because Tommy Joseph will be the batter.
It's good at bat by Franco, but hats off to Freddie Galvis for going first to third. That's what we saw on the homestand. Aggressive base running, timely hitting, laying some bunts down. You see right here, there's no hesitation right here. He knows he can get there. If he hesitates a hair, might have a chance to throw him out at third base. Boom, he was gone, made it to third base easy. Now you got a situation, first and third.
Tommy Joseph takes low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Alex Wilson is one of 2 major league players. The other is no longer active. That was born in Saudi Arabia, that eventually made it to the big leagues. He was born in Saudi Arabia because his dad was working for an oil company. So he just happened to be over there when his son was born. Spent the first couple of years of his life there. And because his dad was in the oil business, he bounced around and then eventually settled in, of all places, West Virginia. Probably not similar at all to Saudi Arabia. 2 balls, no strikes to Tommy Joseph. And Joseph hits it in the air to center field. Should be deep enough to score Galvis. He's tagging. Maven comes running in. He'll make the catch. Galvis is coming home. The throw to the plate is wide. It'll be a sacrifice fly for Tommy Joseph as Franco goes to second. And the Phillies now lead it 7-4.
And it'll be another error cost by an outfielder on the throw.
Yeah, that allows Michael Franco to go to second base.
Well, I thought for sure as the wind was bringing that ball back in to shallow, or let's say deep short, he would have had a chance to throw him up, but may have been known for his hitting, not his canning of an arm.
There's Tommy Joseph thanking Freddie Galvis for getting across the plate in time. 4th RBI for Joseph. He's 1 for 3 today. So Franco's at second base. It's 7-4 Phillies, and Ryan Howard will be the hitter. Howard is 1 for 3, singled his first time up. Back toward the middle, and it's going to be fielded behind the bag by Iglesias, and the side is retired. 6-3 on the putout. Phillies though score a couple runs. They get the home run by Borges, and then the RBI and the sac fly by Tommy Joseph. It's 7-4 Phils.
Is Maikel Franco, who was heading off the field, and he is going to be taken out of the ball game. The slide after the sacrifice fly is what caused the problem, it seemed, for Maikel Franco. He went into the bag pretty hard. Watch as he hustles up to second base, and watch how hard his foot hits the second base bag.
It's hard to tell if it was his ankle or the way he landed with his knee. Either way, it was a late slide. And that's the reason why he was going in hard to get there quicker. Hopefully nothing too serious.
So he's out. There's Larry Boa talking to him, and Scott Sheridan and Sean Ficazzi, the Phillies athletic trainers, came over to chat with him, take him inside. So it means that Cesar Hernandez comes on to play second base, and then Andres Blanco moves from second over to third. Iglesias hits one out towards second base, so it finds Cesar right away. 4-3 on the put out. David Hernandez in the ball game to pitch this seventh inning. David's numbers: 1-1, an ERA of 2.42. Cameron Maybin takes inside on the inside corner. That's it. Just pound the strike zone if you're David Hernandez and whoever else comes out of the bullpen here this afternoon. Phil's trying to salvage the final game of this series, and then it's off to Chicago, where they'll have 3 straight day games against the Cubs. That one is served out to right field, a base hit for Maybin. So he's 2 for 4. What did you think of Aaron Nola today, Matt?
I thought he was pretty good. I thought his command of his fastball was a little above average. I liked the curveball early in the game, but it seemed like he got away from it, and it seemed like he was kind of getting around it a little bit and didn't have that sharp bite like we saw the first couple innings.
Trying to pick up his 4th win of the season. JD Martinez, the batter, and a quick toss over to first, chasing Maybin back. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. If it lines up the way they hope, it'll be Hernandez, then Hector Neris, and then Genmar Gomez to finish it off. Phillies trying to get 8 more outs. That's in there for a strike. 1-1, 95 on that fastball. Hector has not been used a whole lot. Gomez has not been used a whole lot. So Hector's warming now in case they need him even to pitch more than an inning to get a hold. Ball gets away from Rupp. Maybin's going to try to go to second base. The throw won't get there in time. A wild pitch. It's the 6th of the year while Cameron's been catching.
That's a tough one to block. Everything was right. The ball just actually bounced off his right part of the chest. Trying to make an off balance throw to second base.
Up high, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. You don't want to fool around with this team and give them any chance to get the tying run at the plate. But if JD Martinez gets on, that's what's going to happen with Miguel Cabrera due up. Pop foul, and it's 3-2.
Phillies so far 3-2 in interleague games. Trying to improve to 4-2 with a victory here this afternoon. They swept out the Indians, their only other interleague series. Outside ball 4, and that'll put runners on first and second, and Miguel Cabrera will be the hitter. And Bob McClure's coming out. So Mac's going to come out and chat with David Hernandez. Hector Neris continues to warm up in the bullpen. Miguel Cabrera is 0 for 3 in this ball game. Cabrera is 2 for 9 lifetime against David Hernandez. He has struck out. He's grounded back to the mound, and he popped out to second base, breaking his bat his last time up. DHing here this afternoon.
Be interesting to see when he went to the mound, Bob McClure, if he's given the scouting report on Cabrera, what he likes, or giving the mechanic tip about maybe trying to overthrow it a little bit.
I think you're right about the overthrowing part of it. It looked that way in J.D. Martinez's bat, the first fastball that he threw. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies have scored 7 runs for the first time since the 12th of May when they did it against the Braves. It's been 12 games. Murph talked about the offense struggling earlier. Just a bit outside, 2-1. Brian Gorman's had a pretty good strike zone today. The home plate umpire. There hasn't been much barking at all about the balls and strikes that have been called. Good hitters count. And that one's hit back through the middle of base hit. Maven's around third. He'll score. Odubel's throw goes to the cutoff man. It's 7-5. The Phillies lead is 2. And Victor Martinez will be the hitter. And here comes Pete Buchanan. And that's going to be it for David Hernandez. It'll be Hector Neris who's going to come in. So pitching change here at Comerica Park. David Hernandez has allowed 1 run. He's responsible for the 2 base runners on base right now. We'll tell you about Hector Neris's numbers when we return. For the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Matt, here we go. Who holds the Tigers record for most consecutive starts without a loss?
Well, I was thinking about Dizzy Trout at first, but then when you told me that he's not here no longer, I assumed that he got traded or signed as a free agent. So
Do you think Dizzy Trout was still here?
Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer is correct. He did it back in 2012 and 2013. Log back on thephillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Dizzy Trout has not been here since 1951.
Yeah, well,
so he would also be categorized as a possible answer because he's not here anymore.
I thought maybe it might have been the Bird.
Mark Fidrich.
Hey, he was what? He won 19 games his rookie year.
Pitched in the All-Star game in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, passed away in 2009. I remember watching him when I was a kid, going to games, and he was funny to watch. I can only imagine what he was like when he was when he won those 19 games. So Victor Martinez will face Hector Neris. First pitch is outside, 1 ball, no strikes. He starts him off with a split. Hernandez given 1/3 so far. And 1 walk and 2 hits. Freddie Galvis with a quick word for Neris. Got some rosin. Throws the split over on the outside part of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hector last pitched on the 22nd against the Braves, pitched a scoreless inning. A liner down the right field line. It is a foul ball. You do not want to throw it in that spot again. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
No, that's a good zone for a lefty to hit. Unfortunately, you have no idea what zone you're throwing it to when you throw the split finger. Sometimes you go straight down. The split finger fastball has been up lately. But I still want to see him get used to throwing some fastballs because he has a good fastball. A good fastball sets up a really good split finger fastball.
And if he's going to throw the split here, he throws it in the dirt, I would think.
You have to bounce it.
Last 7 games, Hector Neris, 7 2/3 scoreless. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Martinez. And he did try to bounce it. He got a piece of it. Getting more than 3 outs is nothing new to Neris. He did it back on the 8th of May the last time. Boy, that is one emergency swing right there. He got 4 outs on the 29th of April against the Indians. And he went 2 2/3 on the 20th of April against the Mets. Got him.
That was a good one.
Yep, split in a good spot. Now there are 2 outs. And now it'll be Nick Castellanos who will be the batter.
And watch this split finger dart to the right. You think it's in the zone? It's almost like a good 2-seam fastball, which has that running action away from left-handers. But you can tell right there. Good pitch. Great timing for a great split.
Well, here's Castellanos, who's 0 for 3. He's flied out, grounded out, and struck out. 7-5 Phillies. Tying runs are aboard. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Up and in, 1 ball, no strikes. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, now he's got to dance it pretty good. He's got to stay on top of it.
Good point, Tom. Very good. If he gets on side of that split finger fastball, that's when he doesn't get that great movement.
Freddie Galvis just asked for Cameron Rupp to come out to the mound.
This is just an area where you got to change the signs.
So they think that J.D. Martinez might be feeding Castellanos something?
It could be a lot of signs where a second baseman, if he gets the signs, he'll either adjust his helmet or go back, or what Jason Worth loves to do is go and kick the bag, and that's letting the hitter at home know I have the signs and the location.
Well, if he had it, it didn't help there. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. What if he surprises him with a fastball here?
He'd probably surprise everybody else too in the dugout.
So you want another split?
Why not? It's his money pitch. If you're going to get beat, you get beat with your best pitch. Throw it in the dirt again.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Castellanos in the dirt, and it's 2-2. Neris has made up one of the best back ends to a bullpen in Major League Baseball this year. And to say that it came out of nowhere is an understatement. It was not laid out this way at the beginning of the year. 2-2 pitch. Inside 3-2. So now the runners will be off. Moya's on deck. Still don't know if he'll get a fastball here.
You know, it's an area where, what do you feel best? What's your most comfortable pitch to throw? If he throws a fastball here, I'll be shocked. I really would be. One, you have Moya on deck.
And it's a quick pitch, fastball called strike 3, or I should say changeup called strike 3, 87 miles an hour, and the side is retired. 1 run does score. 2 hits and 2 men left, and Castellanos wasn't even ready, and the pitch came across the letters. Watch this. Neris is set, Castellanos just getting set, and bam. A changeup left up in the zone. It was a hittable pitch, but only when you're ready. We'll go to the 8th inning. Phillies lead it by 2 over the Tigers. Inning here at Comerica Park, the final game of this 3-game series.
Hector Neris got the last 2 outs of the inning. Watch this pitch right here. Castellanos is just getting into the box, and Neris has already got his signs from Cameron Rupp, so he's ready to go.
Right, so Neris comes set. He gets into the position. His head's still down at home plate, so he doesn't realize that he has come set already. Now, as Neris delivers the ball, he's thinking that he has to come set. Everyone thinks it's a quick pitch, but it's not. It's perfectly fine what he did.
Now, it was quicker than what he had done before, as that one is smoked to dead center field. Maben going back. He can't get it. It's off the base of the wall. And Cameron Rupp is going to stop at second base with a double. So a leadoff double here in the 8th inning. Let's see if the Phillies can get that run back. I don't know if Maben made the best play after this ball.
And this ball was absolutely crushed, though. Fastball, middle of the plate. Cameron actually thought he got it. But I agree with Maben. He actually, as he was running after the ball, he was kind of jogging. That's what you call running with the ball, instead of going to an area where you think it's going to come down.
Blanco has been on base 3 times today. And he rips that one past Victor Martinez down the right field line, heading to the wall. Rupp is on his way home. He'll score. And going to second base with an RBI double is Andres Blanco. And the Phils have added another one back. It's 8-5 here in the 8th inning. Boy, it's nice to keep adding on if you're the Phillies against this Tigers offense.
Well, it's nice to have back-to-back at-bats with 2 pitches and hit absolute 2 missiles, one off the center field wall, and that one there double to right field.
Tyler Goodell is 1 for 3. And Goodell bunts this one. It's a foul ball. Goodell trying to get Blanco over to third base so he can score on a fly ball.
Number 53, Warwick Stoppel, now warming for the Tigers.
He doesn't bunt this time, and he fouls it off to the right. Warwick Soppold is warming up in the pen for the Tigers. Swing and a miss, and Goodell strikes out. And there's 1 out here in the 8th inning. Time to get caught up on what's going on around Major League Baseball. Here's Greg Murphy.
All right, thanks, Tom. It's our greater coverage of baseball presented by T-Mobile, and I guess this is happening all over the league. Yasiel Puig benched in the Dodgers game last night after not running out a ball that he thought was a home run. It ended up hitting the wall. He ended up with just a long single. He got benched immediately after the inning was over. When he was asked afterwards if he's ever been pulled out of a game that early before, he said, "I don't know. You're going to have to ask my old manager, Don Mattingly, about that." I think that happened a couple of times with him. The Mets not going to skip Matt Harvey's next start. Despite all the troubles that Matt Harvey has had over the last couple of starts, 14 runs in his last 7 2/3 innings over those 2 starts, he will indeed make his next start for the New York Mets. And a scary scene for the Pirates pitcher Ryan Vogelsong. The pitch that hit him, 92-mile-per-hour fastball that hit him in the cheek, ended up with some facial fractures and some swelling. He is in the hospital right now, obviously going on the 15-day disabled list. They say he is in good spirits, but certainly a very scary scene and a very scary moment for Ryan Vogelsong. So it'll be a couple of weeks before we see him back out on the baseball diamond, guys.
Yeah, they said he did not sustain a concussion, but there's so much swelling around the eye that's why they're keeping him in the hospital. You know, when it first was reported, we thought it was a line drive back to the box, but it was when he was batting. One ball, no strikes to Peter Borges.
Borges lifts that one to shallow right field. It's a long run for everybody involved into foul territory, and Aviles goes diving after it and can't come up with it. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Got to get a little of that gravel out of his glove. He's going to need a little stitch or two in those pants. It's all right. If you're in the clubhouse, you have the ability to sew.
He had to call off Victor Martinez early because Victor was actually a lot closer than he was. Victor stopped running and down goes Frazier.
Victor's hands went out, wondering, where are you? 1 ball, 1 strike to Borges, who homered his last time up. He's 2 for 3. And time is called. Mike Aviles asked for time before and was not granted it. Well, why does Peter Borges get it? He's wondering.
That's twice.
Another one fouled on the right side. 1-2 to Borges. Trying to get extra run home. Brian Gorman, the home plate umpire today. He's the crew chief. Swing and a miss at a high fastball. Back-to-back strikeouts. Yeah, there are 2 outs. And now to the top of the order for Odubel Herrera. And they're going to put Odubel on to face Freddie Galvis. So Odubel will be intentionally walked, whether he likes it or not. It's a lot of respect. 4 hits in this series, including a monster home run back in the 4th inning. And there's ball 4.
It's the right thing to do. He's been a hot hitter all year. Like you said, he hit a blast to right field for his 5th of the season. Freddie hasn't really locked it in yet hitting wise.
Freddie is 1 for 4 today with a run scored. 4 for 12 in the series. Galvis takes a strike. It's 0-1, a cutter. Phillies have scored 2 runs in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 here in the 8th inning. And have a 3-run lead. Cesar Hernandez is on deck for the Phils. Chopper back over the middle. And Aviles has it, flips to second, and the side is retired. Phillies, though, get a run on the RBI double by Andres Blanco. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 8-5. Phillies on top of the Tigers. Phillies baseball is brought to you by McDonald's. Jumpstart your morning with a hot or iced McCafe coffee, now starting at just $1. And by Sleepy's. Shop Sleepy's Memorial Holiday Sale with up to half off nearly every mattress in the store. Sleepy's, the only mattress professionals. It's about a mile from Old Tiger Stadium to Comerica Park. You can see Old Tiger Stadium right off the highway. I remember going there for the first time, and I arrived here pretty early in the morning from Chicago. It was kind of neat to see the old ballpark. Stephen Moya will lead it off, and Moya lines one toward the alley in right center field, and Borges won't be able to cut it off. Now Moya doesn't run all that well, but he's got it going right now. He's thinking about 3, and he's going to get to third with a leadoff triple. Second triple for Stephen Moya. Well, they are relentless, at least during this stretch.
Big man picking him up. Like you said, Peter Borges couldn't cut the ball off. Wants to go down that corner, triples alley.
James McCann will be the hitter. He's 1 for 3 in today's ball game. Got a piece of it and hit it foul. It's 1-1. One of the good things about having Hector Neris out on the mound is that if you need a strikeout, he can pick it up, and that's exactly what he did to finish up the 7th inning. So even though there's a runner at third base, it's not a foregone conclusion that that runner is going to score. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire the opposition 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. 1 ball, 2 strikes to McCann. Got him. Threw him a fastball up in the zone. 3 strikeouts for Hector Neris.
Good idea. He's been throwing a lot of split finger fastballs. Now all of a sudden you get 2 strikes. Everyone thinks you're going to get that split finger fastball. You surprise them with a good fastball.
Aviles has scored a couple runs today. He's 1 for 3.
Now more than likely he'll go back to throwing that good split finger. No.
He starts him off with a fastball, just a bit up. Popped up first base side. Tommy Joseph into foul territory, and he makes the catch for the second out. Maikel Franco left the game with a right ankle sprain, so he is going to be day to day. Phillies have an off day tomorrow. That's helpful. Man, the first pitch is over. It's 0-1. Little tapper foul. It's 0-2. So he's gotten the last 2 batters. This is what happened with Franco. Went into second base right there and turned his ankle, trying to stop on a dime. He thought he snuck a fastball to the outer edge, but Brian Gorman did not agree.
It looked like Franco actually rolled his ankle past the bag.
Right.
When
Yeah,
he was
I
trying to
thought it
stop
hit the
to
bag.
get up.
You're right. One-two pitch hit out towards shortstop. Galvis has got it. Little pirouette, throws to first, and it's in time to get Iglesias. And right now, it's the final out of the inning. But the Tigers may say, hey, we are going to review this one. A run crosses the plate, and right now it doesn't count. What a play by Freddie Galvis to get to that and then to spin and get enough on it to make it that close a play. So they are going to review it to see if Iglesias beat it or not. So this is a request from the Tigers to the umpires to review it as we are in the 8th inning. Neris watching from his spot. Boy, that's really close. It looks like he's out. But I don't know if there's enough evidence to overturn it. The Phillies are walking off the field. Neris started walking off the field.
Well, it looks like it's a tie, but this one.
It looks like the ball is in the glove. And then the foot hits the bag. Now you hear cheering in the background. I think he's out. I don't know how they could overturn it, but I think he's out by that look right there. I mean, they could slow it down and run the frames, but it looks like he's out, and it's just a hair that he's out. But beyond that, they called him out. I don't know if there's enough evidence to overturn it. It was awfully close. Phillies started walking off the field after they showed it up on the big video board here at Comerica Park, and then they stopped again. And here we go. And he is out at first base. You know, I think it's the right call. I really do. 6-3 on the putout. Fantastic play by Freddie Galvis. The call stands according to New York. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left over at third. We'll go to the 9th. It's 8-5. Phillies on top. Top of the 9th inning. You don't think it's easy to be an umpire, do you? Look at how close this play is. And for all intents and purposes, Quinn Walcott got it right.
He did. I mean, this is an unbelievable play. The fact that you get to the ball, and then all of a sudden you turn and throw a strike to first base, and then you get Neris's reaction. You'd think he wasn't happy, Tom.
Well, he certainly is flamboyant with his reactions. Saupold 1-0 with an ERA of 0 in 2 games so far. I have to admit it, you know, if we were watching it and let's say the shoe was on the other foot, we probably would have thought he was safe. I mean, it was that close.
Yeah, it was.
The call stands is what the call was. It wasn't that it was confirmed. Stand means there was no evidence to overturn it. 1 ball, no strikes to Cesar Hernandez, and he takes outside. It's 2-0. Hernandez up for the first time. He came on when Maikel Franco left.
An inning and 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 intentional walk, 2 strikeouts.
Fouled back.
1 sacrifice.
2 balls, 1 strike.
An inning and 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run earned, 1 walk intentional, 2 strikeouts, and a sacrifice fly for Wilson.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Hernandez stays alive by fouling it back. Sappold is from Perth, Australia. So each offseason he goes back and plays in the Australian Baseball League. Talks about one of his biggest heroes is Grant Balfour from Australia, who pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays, the Oakland A's. Not much older than Sappold, as Hernandez fouls it over the Tigers dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a strike 3 called. Threw him something soft. And Tommy Joseph will get a chance to bat again. He's 1 for 3 this afternoon with a sacrifice fly. Phillies wind up winning today's ball game. They will gain a game on the Washington Nationals, who already lost 2-0 to the Mets. Steven Matz went 8 innings today. On the outside corner to Joseph. Mets are a half game back. The Phillies are 2.5 back as we speak. And they could move to 2 games back. Opposite way. And a long run for J.D. Martinez. And it's foul. No balls and 2 strikes. There are the updated NL East standings. Miami a game over 500 at 23-22.
That's pretty good, having 4 teams in your division over 500.
Yeah.
Guys, it's very good.
Swing and a miss, and Joseph is struck out. So back-to-back strikeouts for Sappold. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. And Ryan Howard's coming up. Retro Phillies socks free to all fans. Compliments of Sports for All will be given out on Sunday, June 5th. It's a 1:35 first pitch. It's all part of the Brewers series. You can purchase tickets right now by going to Phillies.com. Up and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Howard is 1 for 4. He has struck out twice. He has singled and scored. And Howard hits it sharply on 1 hop, but right out to second, to shallow right center field to the second baseman. 4-3 on the putout. That'll do it for the Phillies in the top of the 9th inning. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Phillies will try to take the final game of this 3-game series. They lead it by 3.
Ninth inning, Genmar Gomez is coming into the ball game. Gomez is going to try to close this one out. Gomez trying to pick up his 17th save. He is currently tied for the National League lead with Jeurys Familia, who picked up his 16th save earlier today. It's a remarkable story to see that Genmar is able to keep on doing this. So there he is, 2-1, a 2.55 ERA. And you know, it's funny, every time they have the leaderboards on a couple of different websites, whether it be ESPN or CBS or anything like that, you know, they have the pictures of the players, and every time Genmar is tied by somebody else for the most saves in the National League.
Let me guess, he's not on the board.
He's not on the board. They put the other guy's picture because everybody's looking at it thinking there's no way he could be leading the league in saves. So I just peeked to see, and Jeurys Familia's picture has replaced Genmar Gomez's picture, even though the two of them are tied with 16 saves. The man has got to garner more respect, Matt Stairs.
Sometimes it's not bad to go under the radar. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
You be a little quiet, you sneak up on people. Next thing you know, you got 30 saves. Let's get the 17 first.
So Cameron Maybin, who is 2 for 4, will lead it off. This is a safe situation for Genmar. Maybin has singled and scored both his last 2 times. He shows bunt, takes up high, 1 ball, no strikes. Gomez going for his first save since the 18th, which is a week ago. He's had 1 appearance during the last week. This after being just an incredible workhorse. On the inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul ball over the head of the camera operators down the first base side, and it remains 1-2. Cameron Maybin 2 for 4 in this ball game. His hitting streak is up to 9 games. He is 6 for 12 in the series, and his average is dropped. And that's because he came in hitting .571. He was hitting over 600 before yesterday's game, and he was 2 for 4, and his average dropped. One ball, 2 strikes. In the dirt, and it's even 2-2. Pete said the last time he put Genmar out there was not a safe situation. He said, yeah, I was kind of worried. I didn't know how he was going to respond. And then he laughed. He said, I'm already looking at him as a closer because he used to be in those games all the time.
Right.
He said, but he was the same calm, cool, collected reliever that they've seen all year long. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Maybin. Over to left side, charging is Galvis, up with it, 1 away. Well, after this ball game comes to a close, the Phillies will head to Chicago for an off day, and then Murph, it begins on Friday against the Cubs.
Yeah, trying to close out this series against one of the hottest teams in baseball with a win. Then they head to the team with the best record in baseball, 30 wins for the Cubs. Here are the pitching matchups. The off day, then Friday afternoon, 1:20. Adam Morgan will take the ball for the Phillies. Pair of left-handers versus John Lester. Jared Eichhoff takes the ball on Saturday afternoon. He'll compose Kyle Hendricks. And Vince Velasquez will take the ball for the Phillies on Sunday. And John Lackey will take it for the Cubs. But, guys, this one's not over yet.
No, it's not. Vince Velasquez is looking forward to getting back out there. Martinez pokes this one to right field. Under it is Borges. So 1 pitch to Martinez, and the second out is retired.
And here's Miguel Cabrera. On the inside quarter. Cabrera is an RBI single in this ball game. He's also struck out, grounded out, and popped out. Pops it up foul over the first base side, and it's down to the final strike for the Tigers as Gomez tries to close this one out. In the dirt, 1-2.
One thing I noticed Gomez when he pitches, when he was pitching the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning, now becomes a 9th inning guy. He doesn't try to throw harder. He just relies on the stuff he has. He's not your typical closer that throws the upper 90s with the devastating split finger fastball or the curveball that buckles guys' knees. He's a guy that relies on throwing that sinker, and he lives right around 91, 92 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think that's the only way he can be successful.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
1-2 pitch. And that one's lined out to short, caught by Freddie Galvis, and the ball game is over. The Phillies take the final game of this 3-game series 8-5, and they finally beat the Detroit Tigers. Genmar Gomez picks up his major league leading 17th save, and the Phils have their most runs since April 23rd. Odubel Herrera is the Chevrolet player of the game. His 3-run home run was a big part of the success of the Phillies in this